The stars did not care. They never did. They burned in the black void, cold and distant, while the cargo ship Pale Wind drifted alone between worlds. Una stood at the observation window and watched the last light of the Confederacy fleet disappear. One moment, there were 12 ships around them. The next moment, there was nothing. Just darkness. Just silence. Just the empty space that stretched forever in all directions. She pressed her hand against the cold glass. Her blue skin looked pale in the dim emergency lighting. Behind her, she could hear the sounds of crying. Children, mothers, old ones who had seen too much war already. They left us, she whispered. The words felt strange in her mouth. Wrong. Impossible. They actually left us. The Velith Confederacy was supposed to protect its people. That was the promise. That was the law. But when the Kreeth warships came out of nowhere and started firing, the Confederacy fleet made a choice. The military ships were fast. The cargo ships were slow. And in the cold math of war, slow ships full of refugees were not worth saving. Elder Morith had given the order himself. Una heard it on the communication channel before the signal cut out. His voice was calm, professional, like he was ordering lunch instead of leaving 800 people to die. All combat vessels emergency jump. Leave the cargo ships. They will slow us down. That was it. No apology. No promise to come back. Just orders and then gone. UNA turned away from the window. The main cargo bay of the Pale Wind was full of people. Families sat together on the metal floor. Children clung to their parents. Some people prayed quietly. Others just stared at nothing, their eyes empty and lost. She counted them in her head. 847 souls. That was how many lives the Confederacy decided were worth nothing. Una, a voice called her name. She looked up and saw Tay walking toward her. He was the ship's engineer, a thin male with tired eyes and grease on his hands. We need to talk. Somewhere private. No. She followed him to the engine room. The machines hummed and clicked around them, but the sound was wrong. Too quiet. Too weak. How bad is it? Una asked. Tay rubbed his face with both hands. Bad. The attack damaged our main power systems. Life support is running on backup. I can keep the air clean and the heat working for maybe 72 hours. After that, he did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. 72 hours. 3 days. That was all the time they had left. What about the engines? Una asked. Can we fly to a station? A planet. Anything. Tay shook his head slowly. Main engines are dead. I might be able to fix them, but it would take weeks. We have days. Una felt something cold settle in her chest. It was fear, but also something else. Anger. Deep, burning anger at the people who did this to them. We send a distress signal, she said. Someone will come. Who? Tay asked. We are in the Hollow Reach. No one comes here. No one lives here. It is empty space between empires. And even if someone hurt us, the Confederacy will not send ships back. We are already dead to them. Then we call someone else. Tay looked at her like she had gone crazy. There is no one else. The Kreeth would kill us. The North do not care about anyone outside their borders. And the humans? He stopped and made a face. The humans are wild, dangerous. The Confederacy tells us to stay away from them for good reason. Una had heard the stories about humans. Everyone had. They were a young species, barely a few centuries into space travel. But they fought like mad animals. They built weapons that scared even the Kreeth, and they did strange things that no other species understood. They kept pets. They formed bonds with machines. They laughed at death and cried at small things, the Confederacy said. Humans were unstable, unpredictable. Best avoided, but right now. Una did not care about any of that. We send a signal on all channels, she said. Every language, every frequency. We tell anyone who is listening that we need help. And if the Kreeth come instead, if they find us before anyone else, Una looked back toward the cargo bay. Through the door, she could see a small girl sitting alone. The girl's name was Sue. She was only 6 years old. Her parents died in the first attack, killed when a missile hit their section of the ship. Now Sue had no one. "If the Kreeth come, we die fighting," Una said quietly. "If no one comes, we die choking. But if there is even one chance that someone will help us, I am taking it." Tay was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "I will set up the distress beacon. But Una, I need you to understand something. If humans come, we do not know what they will do. They might save us. They might rob us. They might do things we cannot even imagine." Una thought about little Sue, about the crying children, about the old ones who deserved better than dying cold and alone in the dark. "We'll take that chance," she said. "Because right now, humans are the only hope we have left." Tay went to work on the beacon. Una walked back to the cargo bay and sat down next to Sue. The little girl looked up at her with big, frightened eyes. "Are we going to die?" Sue asked, while Una pulled the child close and held her tight. "No," she said. "Someone is coming to save us. I promise." She hoped it was not a lie. 48 hours passed. The pale wind grew colder with each passing moment. Una walked through the cargo bay, stepping carefully between the families huddled on the floor. She carried a small bag of medicine and a bottle of water. It was not much. It was almost nothing. But it was all she had. The air felt thin now. People breathed harder. Children complained of headaches. The old ones slept more than they should, their bodies trying to save energy that was running out. Here, Una knelt beside an elderly male named Han. His gray skin was pale and his breathing was slow. She gave him a small pill and helped him drink some water. "This will help with the pain." Han swallowed the pill and looked at her with tired eyes. He had been a soldier once, long ago. He fought against the Kreeth in the border wars. Now he was just an old man dying slowly on a broken ship. "You should save the medicine," Han said. "Give it to the young ones." "I have lived my life already. Everyone gets medicine," Una said firmly. "Old and young. That is how we do things." Han made a sound that might have been a laugh. "That is not how the Confederacy does things. They left us here because we were not useful. Old soldiers, children, families, we do not matter to them." Una did not answer. She could not argue with the truth. She moved on to the next person, and the next. Her bag grew lighter. Soon, there would be nothing left to give. In the engine room, Tay worked without rest. He had dark circles under his eyes, and his hands shook from exhaustion. But he did not stop. He pulled parts from machines that were not important and used them to fix machines that were keeping everyone alive. "I bought us more time," he told Una when she came to check on him. "Maybe 12 more hours. That gives us 84 hours total since the attack." "That is good," Una said, but her voice was flat. 12 more hours of slow death was still death. Any response to the distress signal? Tay shook his head. Nothing. Just silence. Una closed her eyes for a moment. She was so tired. Every part of her body hurt, but she could not rest. If she stopped moving, she would start thinking. And if she started thinking, she would remember that they were all going to die. She went back to the cargo bay. In the corner, a group of refugees were arguing loudly. She walked over to see what was wrong. "You should turn off the beacon." A male was shouting. His name was Bong, and he was a traitor who lost his ship in the attack. "If the Kreeth find us, they will kill us all. Or worse, they will take us as slaves." "If we turn off the beacon, no one will find us," another refugee said. "We will die anyway. At least we will die free. Better to suffocate than to be a Kreeth slave." The argument grew louder. People started taking sides. Fear made them angry. Anger made them stupid. Why? Una pushed through the crowd and stood in the middle. "Enough," she shouted. Everyone stopped and looked at her. "Fighting each other will not save us. The beacon stays on. It is our only chance." Bong pointed a finger at her. "You are just a medical officer. You do not give orders. Who puts you in charge?" "The captain died in the attack," Una said coldly. The first officer died with him. I am the highest-ranking crew member left. So yes, I give the orders. And my order is this. The beacon stays on. She stared at Bong until he looked away. Then she turned and walked back to her corner of the cargo bay. Little Sue was waiting for her. The child had not left Yuna's side since her parents died. She followed Yuna everywhere, like a small shadow. Are the bad people coming? Sue asked. Yuna sat down and pulled the girl close. I do not know. Maybe good people will come instead. What kind of good people? Yuna thought about it. The Confederacy was not coming. The Kreeth were enemies. The North did not care. That left only one possibility. Maybe humans, she said quietly. Old Han was sitting nearby. He heard her and looked up sharply. Humans? You sent a signal to humans? I sent a signal to everyone. Han shook his head slowly. I have met humans before. In the war. They fought beside us for a short time, against the Kreeth. Yuna was surprised. What were they like? Han was quiet for a long moment. His old eyes looked far away, remembering things from long ago. Strange, he finally said. They were very strange. They did things that made no sense. One of their soldiers carried a picture of his family everywhere. He showed it to everyone. He talked about his wife and children like they were the most important things in the universe. I thought he was weak. What kind of soldier thinks about family during war? What happened to him? He died. A Kreeth bomb hit our position. Everyone was running away. But this human, this strange soldier with his picture, he ran back into the fire. There was a wounded Velith soldier, trapped under broken metal. The human picked him up and carried him to safety. Then he went back for another. And another. Han's voice grew quiet. He saved 7 of our people before the second bomb hit. He died with his arms around a soldier he did not even know. Sue looked up at Yuna with wide eyes. Why did he do that? I do not know, Han said. I asked his commander the same question. Do you know what she said? Yuna shook her head. She said that is what humans do, nothing more. Like it was the most obvious thing in the world. The cargo bay was quiet now. People were listening to Han's story. Even Bong had stopped complaining. Maybe humans will come, Han said slowly. Maybe they will not. But if they do, I do not think they will hurt us. They are strange and wild, and they do not think like we do. But they are not cruel, not to people who need help. Yuna felt something warm in her chest. It was small and weak, but it was there. Hope. Then we wait, she said, and we hope. Outside the ship, the stars burned cold and distant. The distress beacon sent its signal into the void, calling for anyone to hear, calling for anyone to come. And somewhere, far away, someone was listening. Hour 71. The air was poisoned now. Yuna could barely breathe. Every breath hurt her chest. Every movement made her dizzy. Around her, people lay on the floor, too weak to move. Children cried softly. Adults stared at nothing, their eyes dull and empty. The cold had come first, then the headaches. Now the air itself was killing them slowly. Tay had done everything he could. He gave them every extra hour possible. But even his best was not enough. The machines were dying. The ship was dying. They were all dying. Yuna held little Sue in her arms. The child was unconscious, breathing in small, shallow gasps. Her blue skin had turned gray. She looked like she was already dead. I am sorry, Yuna whispered. I promised someone would come. I am so sorry. She closed her eyes and waited for the end. Then the alarm started screaming. Yuna's eyes flew open. Red lights flashed across the cargo bay. The alarm was loud and sharp, cutting through the silence like a knife. What is happening? Someone shouted. Why? Una forced herself to stand. Her legs shook. Her vision was blurry. But she stumbled toward the control panel near the door and looked at the screen. Her heart stopped. Something was coming. Something big. Moving faster than anything she had ever seen. Tay. She tried to shout, but her voice was weak. She pressed the communication button. Tay, are you there? Something is approaching the ship. Static. Then Tay's voice, tired and scared. I see it. I see it on the sensors. Yuna, it is moving at faster than light speed. It will be here in less than 1 minute. What is it? Kreeth? I do not know. The signature is? I do not recognize it. Wait, I am checking the database. The seconds felt like hours. Yuna watched the dot on the screen getting closer and closer. Around her, people who still had strength were sitting up, looking around with confused and frightened eyes. Yuna Tay's voice came back. It sounded strange, shocked. It is not Kreeth. The signature matches a human military vessel. Destroyer class. Human dot. The word spread through the cargo bay like fire. People gasped. Some cried out in fear. Others started praying. Humans are coming, someone said. The wild ones. The crazy ones. They will kill us. They will eat us. They're monsters. Yuna turned and faced the crowd. Stop! She shouted, using the last of her strength. We do not know what they will do. But they came. Someone finally came. That is more than the Confederacy did for us. The ship shook. Something had dropped out of faster than light speed very close to them. Too close. Through the observation window, Yuna saw a shape appear against the stars. The human ship was gray and angular, covered in weapons and armor. It was not beautiful like Velith ships. It was not elegant like Kreeth warships. It looked brutal, functional, dangerous, but painted on its side. In large white letters were words that Yuna could read because she had studied human language long ago. UNSF, Iron Resolve. And below that, a smaller message. We come in peace. The communication system crackled to life. A voice came through, calm and clear, speaking in the common galactic language. Cargo vessel, Pale Wind. This is Captain DeYoung of the United Nations Space Fleet. We received your distress signal. Do you require assistance? Yuna's hands were shaking so badly, she could barely press the response button. Her voice came out as a broken whisper. Yes, please. We are dying. Our air is gone. We have children. Please help us.
Silence.
The longest 3 seconds of Yuna's life, then Captain DeYoung spoke again. His voice was warm, gentle, like he was talking to a friend instead of strangers from a species that feared his kind. Hold on, Pale Wind. Help is coming. We are sending rescue teams to your ship right now. Can you unlock your main airlock? Yes, I can do that. Good. Keep your people calm. We are going to get everyone out. I promise. Yuna felt tears running down her face. She did not know when she started crying. Why? She asked. The question came out before she could stop it. Why are you helping us? We are nothing to you. The Confederacy is not your ally. You have no reason to save us. Another pause. When Captain DeYoung spoke again, Yuna could hear something in his voice. It was not anger or pity. It was something she did not have a word for. Sent a distress call. You needed help. That is all the reason we need. The communication ended. Yuna stood there, staring at the speaker, trying to understand. Behind her, old Han pulled himself to his feet. He walked slowly to the window and looked at the human warship. His face was unreadable. They really came, he said quietly. The strange ones. The wild ones. They really came. They said they will save everyone, Yuna said. All of us. Han nodded slowly. Yes, that is what humans do. Through the window, they could see small ships leaving the Iron Resolve and flying toward the Pale Wind. Rescue ships. Coming to save 847 strangers that they had never met. Little Sue stirred in Yuna's arms. Her eyes opened slightly. Someone came. The child whispered. Yuna held her tighter and smiled through her tears. Yes, little one. Someone came. Humans. They came for us. The first rescue ship docked with the Pale Wind. The airlock hissed open, and the humans stepped inside. The airlock opened with a loud hiss. Cold, clean air rushed into the Pale Wind. It smelled different from anything Yuna had ever breathed before. fresh, alive, real. Then the humans came through the door. Yuna did not know what she expected. Monsters, maybe. Soldiers with weapons. Angry faces and shouted commands. Instead, she saw a large man with kind eyes carrying an oxygen tank in each hand. Behind him came more humans, men and women, all wearing the same gray uniforms. They carried blankets, medical bags, bottles of water, and strange machines that beeped and flashed. The large man spoke first. His voice was rough, but gentle, like stone covered in soft cloth. "I am Chief Q, rescue team leader. Nobody panic. We are here to help. Everyone will be evacuated to our ship. The sick and the children first." He looked around the cargo bay and saw the hundreds of Velith refugees lying on the floor. For just a moment, his face changed. Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe, or anger, but not at them. At the situation, at whoever caused this. Then he turned to his team and started giving orders. Team 2, start oxygen distribution. Give masks to anyone having trouble breathing. Team 3, begin triage. Find the most critical cases. Team 4, prepare the shuttles for evacuation. The humans moved like water. Fast, smooth, efficient. They spread out through the cargo bay without any confusion. Every person knew exactly what to do. A young human with a soft face knelt beside Yuna. His uniform said his name was Wu. He looked very young, maybe just a boy in human years. "Are you hurt?" Wu asked. His accent was strange, but his words were clear. Yuna shook her head. "No, but this child needs help." She held out Sue, who was barely breathing. Wu did not hesitate. He took off his own jacket and wrapped it around Sue. Then he pulled out an oxygen mask from his bag and placed it gently over the child's face. "Her breathing is weak but steady," he said. "I am taking her to our medical bay right now. She will be okay. I promise." He picked up Sue like she weighed nothing and started walking toward the airlock. Yuna tried to follow, but her legs gave out. She fell to her knees. Another human caught her before she hit the floor. It was a woman with short hair and warm brown eyes. Her uniform said Dr. Era. "Easy, easy," Dr. Era said. "You are exhausted and oxygen-starved. Sit here. Breathe this." She pressed an oxygen mask to Yuna's face. The air was cool and sweet. Yuna felt strength slowly returning to her body. "Thank you," Yuna whispered. Dr. Ara smiled. It was a real smile. Not polite. Not fake. Real. "You are welcome. Now rest. We will take care of everyone." Across the cargo bay, Chief Q found old Han lying against the wall. The elderly Velith was conscious, but very weak. "Can you walk, grandfather?" Chief Q asked. Han looked up at the human with suspicious eyes. "I am not your grandfather, and I do not need help." Chief Q did not get angry. He just nodded slowly. "I understand. But my orders are to get everyone off this ship. So you can walk with me, or I can carry you. Your choice." Han stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, he laughed. It was a dry, tired laugh, but it was real. "You humans are stubborn." "Yes," Chief Q agreed. "We are." He helped Han stand and supported him as they walked toward the shuttles. Near the back of the cargo bay, there was a scream. A woman's voice, high and frightened. Dr. Ara ran toward the sound and found a pregnant Velith female lying on the floor. Her face was covered in sweat. Her body was shaking. "The baby is coming," the woman gasped. Her name was Gina. "It is too early. The stress, the fear, it started the labor. Please, please help me." Dr. Ara knelt beside her and took her hand. "What is your name?" "Gina. My name is Gina." "Gina, I am Ara. I am a doctor. I have delivered many babies. Your child is going to be born today, and both of you are going to be fine. Do you trust me?" Gina looked into the human's eyes. She saw no lies there. Only calm confidence. "Yes," she whispered. "I trust you." Dr. Era turned to her team. "Get me clean blankets, warm water, and my medical kit. We are doing this here. No time to move her, The next hour was a blur of controlled chaos. Dr. Era worked with steady hands, talking to Gina the whole time, keeping her calm, keeping her focused. Around them, the evacuation continued. Humans carried Velith refugees to the shuttles, one by one, family by family. And then, in the middle of a dying ship floating in empty space, a new life entered the universe. The baby's first cry was the most beautiful sound Yuna had ever heard. "It is a girl," Dr. Era announced, holding up the tiny child. A perfect, healthy girl. Gina sobbed with relief and joy. She reached out for her daughter, and Dr. Ara placed the baby in her arms. "Thank you," Gina cried. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Dr. Era wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She was crying too. "You did all the hard work. I just helped." Chief Q appeared beside them. His rough face was soft as he looked at the newborn. "That is a strong child," he said. "Born in the hardest place at the hardest time. She is going to grow up and do amazing things." He took off his own jacket and wrapped it around Gina and the baby. "Together, let us get you somewhere warm," he said. Captain DeYoung arrived on the pale wind near the end of the evacuation. He walked through the empty cargo bay, checking every corner, making sure no one was left behind. He found Yuna sitting alone near the observation window. She was staring at the stars. "Everyone is safe on the Iron Resolve," the captain said. "All 847 of you. +1. He smiled slightly. "I heard about the baby." Yuna did not turn around. She kept staring at the void. "Why?" she asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Why? What? Why did you come? Why did you risk your ship and your crew for strangers? We are not your people. Our governments are not allies. You gain nothing by saving us." Captain DeYoung was quiet for a long moment. Then he walked over and sat down beside her. "You kept them alive," he said softly. 71 hours with no help coming. You held them together. You gave them hope when there was none. That took strength. More strength than most people have.
Oh.
Film said, "Tawan." It was warm, solid, real. "Rest now," he said. "We have them. You do not have to be strong anymore." And for the first time since the Confederacy left them to die, Yuna allowed herself to break. She leaned against the human captain and cried until there were no more tears left. 3 days passed on the Iron Resolve. 3 days of warm food, clean air, soft beds, and safety. For the Velith refugees, it felt like waking from a nightmare into a dream. The human ship was not built for 800 extra passengers. It was a warship, designed for combat, not comfort. But the humans made it work. They gave up their own sleeping quarters. They shared their own food. They turned cargo bays into dormitories and converted meeting rooms into play areas for the children. No one complained. Not once. Yuna walked through the ship, watching everything with wide eyes. Everywhere she looked, she saw humans helping Velith. A soldier teaching a child how to play a human game. A cook making extra meals for families. A doctor checking on the elderly every few hours. She found little Sue in the medical bay. The child was sitting up in bed, drawing on a piece of paper with colored sticks. Insin Wu sat beside her, watching her draw. "What are you making?" Yuna asked. Sue held up the paper proudly. It showed a gray shape surrounded by yellow dots. Inside the gray shape, stick figures held hands. "It is the ship," Sue explained. "The human ship that saved us. And these are all the people inside. Humans and Velith together." Wu looked at the drawing and smiled. His eyes were wet, It is beautiful, he said. Can I keep it? Sue nodded happily. I made it for you, because you saved me. Yuna watched the young human carefully fold the paper and put it in his pocket, close to his heart. She did not understand humans. She was not sure anyone did. But in that moment, she felt something she had never felt toward another species before, gratitude, and something deeper than gratitude. Later that day, Captain Dae Young found Yuna standing at the observation deck. She spent a lot of time there now, looking at the stars. But she was not afraid of them anymore. We will reach the neutral station in 2 days, the captain said, standing beside her. There are Velith representatives there. They can help your people find new homes, apply for asylum, whatever they need. Yuna nodded slowly. And then what happens to you? Dae Young shrugged. We go back to patrol duty. There is always someone out there who needs help. Do you ever get tired? Saving strangers who can never repay you? The captain was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. Can I tell you something about humans? Yuna turned to look at him. Yes. We have a long history. Thousands and thousands of years. And in that history, we have done terrible things. Wars that killed millions. Cruelty that makes the Kreeth look gentle. We have hurt each other in ways I cannot even describe. He paused, looking at the stars. But we have also done beautiful things. We have saved strangers at the cost of our own lives. We have crossed oceans to help people we have never met. We have given everything we have to protect people who could never give anything back. He turned to face Yuna directly. His eyes were honest and open. You know what it feels like to be abandoned? To be left behind? To be told that your life does not matter? Maybe that is why we do what we do. Because we remember how much it hurts. And we do not want anyone else to feel that pain. Yuna felt tears forming in her eyes again. The Confederacy sees your kindness as weakness. I know. They say you are dangerous and unstable. We can be. When someone threatens the people we care about, he smiled slightly. But that is not weakness. That is love with teeth. Before Yuna could respond, a message came through the ship's communication system. It was from the Velith Confederacy. United Nations vessel, Iron Resolve. This is the Velith Confederacy Central Command. You have interfered in internal Confederacy matters by taking possession of Confederacy citizens. Explain your actions immediately. The message was cold, demanding. It sounded exactly like Elder Moroth, the one who had ordered the refugees abandoned in the first place. Captain Dae Young walked to the communication panel. His face had changed. The softness was gone. In its place was something hard, something dangerous. This is Captain Dae Young of the UNSF Iron Resolve. We received a distress call from a civilian vessel in unclaimed space. We responded to that call and rescued all survivors. They are safe aboard my ship and will be delivered to a neutral station where they can make their own choices about their future. A pause. Then the Confederacy responded. Those citizens belong to the Confederacy. You had no authority to take them. Dae Young's voice dropped lower, quieter, more dangerous. Those people were abandoned to die in the void. Your fleet left them with no help, no hope, and no future. You decided their lives were worth nothing. Another pause. We decided differently. He ended the transmission. The Confederacy did not respond again. On the last day before reaching the station, Old Han came to see Captain Dae Young. The elderly Velith stood at attention and raised his hand in a formal salute. It was a gesture reserved for the greatest heroes in Velith culture. I was wrong about your kind, Han said. His voice was rough with emotion. I thought humans were strange and wild and dangerous. I was right about all of that. But I missed the most important thing. What is that? You are good. Truly good. In a way that my own people have forgotten how to be. Dae Young returned the salute. We are just trying our best. Same as everyone. Han shook his head. No, not the same. Not the same at all. When the Iron Resolve reached the neutral station, the Velith refugees prepared to leave. They carried their small bags, and their memories, and their new baby. Born in the darkness between stars, Yuna was the last to leave. She stood at the airlock, looking back at the gray metal corridors that had been her home for 3 days. "I am not going back to the Confederacy," she told Captain DeYoung. "I am going to apply for asylum in human space. I want to understand your people. I want to learn how to be like you." Dam smiled. "We are not so special. Just stubborn. Maybe stubborn is what the galaxy needs." She reached out and took his hand. It was warm and strong, just like his people. "Thank you, Captain, for everything. Take care of yourself, Yuna, and take care of that little girl." Yuna walked off the ship and into her new life. Behind her, the Iron Resolve closed its airlock and prepared to leave. There was another distress call waiting. Another group of strangers in trouble. Another ship full of people who had been left to die. The humans were already moving toward them, because that is what humans do. Years later, historians would try to explain why humanity became the galaxy's most trusted protectors. They would write about military strength and political influence and economic power. But Yuna knew the truth. She told her children and her grandchildren the real reason. In the cold mathematics of the universe, humans made no sense. They gave without expecting return. They saved without counting the cost. They loved without condition. They were wild and strange and dangerous, and they were exactly what the galaxy needed.